Hey guys, it's Rhett from the 100 Acre Wood Highlands. It's the middle of August. It is muggy and hot, but we do have a little bit of cloud cover and possibly a slight chance of rain this afternoon. But I have a brand new tool that I've got to use here on the farm, a new farm implement that I'm going to show you guys today. It's a bit of a antique, but I think it's still going to work great. I'm going to show you guys what it is, and we'll get it unhooked and unloaded from the trailer and see if we can put it to some use. Let's check it out. Alright, so let's check this thing out. This is a grain drill or a seeder. It's basically an implement that attaches to the back of the tractor and is used to plant grains and different kinds of wheat and oats and stuff like that. And so I've been searching for these on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and stuff like that because I wanted to find something that I could use both to plant some food plots for deer and also to be able to plant some winter forage for the cows. And what I've kind of discovered, and I don't know a whole lot about this stuff, is that there's a lot of different types, there's a lot of different sizes, and the prices could range dramatically on these seeders. You know, the no-till drills and the big commercial stuff that a lot of the guys use to plant big, huge farms and stuff was thousands and thousands of dollars. And I didn't have implements big enough to use it anyways. So I was looking at a lot of different implements that were green. They looked like they might have been some kind of John Deere seeder. But the problem I was running into is that a lot of them had to have a hydraulic hookup on the back of the tractor to power some kind of mechanism within the seeder. Then there were some older models that didn't have that, but they actually had like regular tires on the outside, and a lot of those were looking pretty cruddy condition. And so this one is kind of unique. It's the only one I found like this where there's a wheel back here on the back. I'll show you this thing. It's got these different spikes and stuff on it that as the tractor pulls this across the dirt, this wheel turns and of course digs into the dirt, and this whole mechanism that turns moves a chain. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's up underneath this arm, there's a chain that this wheel turns, and it kind of leads up in here and kind of into these little areas where the grains or the seeds drop down into these little arms. But let me show you up close. So as the chain turns this, it turns this little dial, which helps the seed that's dropping down in to fall into these tubes. The grain falls down this tube and out a hole in the bottom down here. And that hole lines up right behind a chisel that is going to dig through the dirt and cut a little narrow furrow or a little track for the seed to fall in. So some of these little funnels look pretty good shape. I mean, that one's all nice and tight and it doesn't look like any seeds would fall out. This one's kind of got some bigger gaps in it to where I imagine, you know, you could probably, some of the seeds will fall through here and they may come out, but I probably could, you know, cover this with some kind of tape or some kind of wrap or something to help that. That one looks in pretty decent shape. This one has already been covered in tape. It was the worst looking one on here. And I might be able to find some kind of part to replace this. But all together, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's right. 9 different areas where seeds will drop down, fall behind the chisel, and as we pull this through the field, that mechanism will turn and seeds will drop down and plant. So if we take a look on the inside here, this is the, I guess it's called the hopper or some kind of area where you fill up the seeds with. Looks pretty nice shape and clean inside. There's a little bit of probably wheat seeds or something like that left over from the last time something was planted in here. You know, I tried to ask as many questions about this as I could, because I don't know much about these kinds of implements. And the guy that I bought it from said that he had used it the past couple of years to plant a 60-acre field of wheat in his beef operation where he's all grass-fed. And he said the only reason that he's buying a new one is because he wanted a bigger one, because obviously it probably takes a long time to plant 60 acres with something that's about 7 or 8 foot long. So I'm hopefully only planting about 5-ish acres or so as a trial run. I have an area in the back part of one of my fields that I've already brush hogged down to probably like a 4-inch stubble, and I'm going to pull this through that. I've already bought some forage oat seeds and some wheat seeds that were part of a blend I bought from Tractor Supply. I'm going to start off with trying those, and then I'll probably make a trip over to the feed store later on this week to pick up some wheat seeds and just plant some winter wheat. But the thing looks pretty cool. I'm excited to try it. I hope my tractor is big enough to pull it. His tractor was like a 45 horsepower, and I believe the John Deere 4120 that I have is 42 or 43 horsepower. So I think it'll pull it. We're going to give it a try here in just a little bit. But one of the things I wasn't for sure about was whether or not I needed to till up or disc the field that I was going to do this through. And I have a disc. It's not in the greatest shape, but I have a tiller that I could use. But the guy that I bought this from said that he doesn't till, he doesn't disc or anything. Those teeth, he said, will rip a little lane right for the seeds to drop in, and he said it's worked just fine for him. So I'm going to take his word for it, and hopefully it'll work for us. So I'm going to get it hooked onto the tractor. We're going to take it up to the house. The seeds are in the back of my truck. We're going to load it up and see if we can give it a shot. Okay, well, I've got the implement attached, got it off the trailer. Tractor obviously has no issue lifting it up or moving it around or anything like that, and I really wasn't worried about that. Pulling it through the dirt is a little bit more my concern, but it's no deeper than the wheat seed and the oat seed needs to be, which is probably just about an inch or so. I'm hoping that I'm not going to have any issues. And the area of the field that I'm going to be planting this in, I'm almost positive there's no rocks, there's not any big roots or anything like that that I'm going to be going through, and I've already mowed it down pretty short, so this will be a pretty good test run for the first go round. Okay, so we're back today. Last night it kept on sprinkling and raining off and on for a while, and then I kind of ran out of time, and so I just decided to wait till today to spread some of this seed. So I've got two different types of seed that I'm going to be blending together in the tiller today. And I found out that this is a Fred Cain manufacturer is what makes this. I tried to search this specific thing online last night. I never could find exactly this. But I'm going to be using it today to plant two different things I got from Tractor Supply. So these are what I'm going to be planting. This is just what was available at Tractor Supply, and I'm going to plant this in one area of the field, and then later on in the next week or two I'm going to go to our local feed store and just get some regular wheat seed that that can serve as both a food plot for deer and for the cows later on. But this one is just a forage oats, where this one is a little bit more of a blend. I believe it's got let's see here. It says it's got wheat, oats, peas, rape, red clover, and ryegrass. And so I'm just gonna mix these together inside this hopper here and go give it a try, see what happens, and kind of learn how to use the machine. And if any of you guys out there are farmers or ranchers and you know what these spring like tubes are called and where I can find them, I think I'd like to get a couple of replacement parts for this. But let's get it filled up and go check it out. Before I get all the seeds in here, these little gates or doors are all supposed to be in the off position or closed position, and we'll wait till I get in the field where I want to go before we'll open them all back up, and that kind of prevents the seeds from dropping down in here and spilling them along the way before you're ready to start distributing them. Okay, I've got 2 of the oats variety bags in here, and then I've got 2 of the blended bags in here. The bags of oats were 50 pounds a piece, and the blended bag was 40 pounds a piece. And so I got 180 pounds of seeds in here, which must mean that this hopper probably could hold about 200 pounds because it's still not 100% of the way full. So I tried to kind of just come through with my hands and mix up some of that seed to kind of get it blended all together. I'm gonna go head out in the field now, drop it down and see what happens. All right, so I'm in the back corner of one of the fields that we've got that's about 4 acres, and I have brush hogged it down to just a few inches in the past week or so, and I realized that I'd get a lot better contact with these seeds to the soil if I came through and either disced this up or tilled it up or did some kind of preparation to make that soil contact a lot better. And it's probably most appropriate to get a soil test done to find out if I need to put down fertilizer, or if I need to put down lime or anything else like that. But I'm just gonna kind of do an experiment to drag this through the grass stubble without going through and tilling, and without fertilizing or liming, and seeing what grows. And I've got a different, very much smaller plot that I am going to go through and till and plant more of a food plot for the deer hunting. So this field is going to be just to try to get some green growth throughout the fall and winter months that the cows can graze on it. There's going to be deer, of course, and other wildlife that eat on it, but it quadruples the amount of time for me to come through here and spray everything first with some kind of, Roundup to kill everything, to till it all up, then to put this seeder through, and then probably go back through with some kind of cultipacker or some kind of drag behind to cover up all this grass. So I'm hoping that the teeth of this seeder are going to be able to dig through this dirt, drop the seeds in, and that will be sufficient to get some stuff to grow. So we're going to give it a shot. Okay, gonna open my little gates here. All right, Alright, so now that these little gates are open, in theory, when this is lowered, these little spikes will puncture into the dirt. As this turns, it will turn the belt inside there and we'll grab seeds. I can hear some falling. Here's some. Grab the seeds and they will come out and rain out the bottom like that. So hopefully everything on this works. Okay, so I've made kind of one pass down this field and you can kind of see the furrows that this cuts up. There's kind of a whole lane of them heading that way. So hopefully the grain seed is making its way down to that dirt, and then the next time it rains, a bunch of them will germinate. Okay, well, I'm all done for today. There was one of these gates that I eventually shut because it kept on getting clogged up, and I don't know if there's something that's blocking the seeds from going down or what, so I'm gonna have to give that some attention later on this week, but I think it's gonna work. In the pasture that I went through, especially when I'm driving, you can see kind of all the lines through the field where the seeds have hopefully dropped down into those little furrows. There's a chance of rain here in 3 or 4 days, and so hopefully that will help these seeds to germinate. But I think I'm going to find some pieces to replace a couple of these seed tubes online, and altogether I'm pretty happy with this purchase. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to use this to help grow some grains throughout the winter time that the cows can eat on, in addition to their hay and the cubes that I give them. And so I'll probably do some experimenting. I'll probably do some areas where I actually do disc it up and till it up and then run this through and see how much of a difference it makes. It's just it would be a lot of time and effort to go through and till up all this with the equipment that I have. And also I really don't want to destroy the grass that I have here, because the Bermuda grass, which is what I want, is kind of taking hold, and so I don't want to really mess that up either. So kind of an experiment, but it's a fun thing to do here on the farm. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for 100 Acre Wood Highlands. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions or ways that I could do this a little bit better or easier, leave them down in that comment box below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.